Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Mukum Karati Vacharam Bhangun Nangate Grim Yakripatamam Vande Shri Guru Dhamma Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki Shri Guru Maharaj ki Shri Radha Govinda Ju ki Jai Go Premanande. So first of all, I have to pronounce millions and times at the lotus feet of our Guru Pada Padma Om Vishnu Pad Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Goswami Shiksha Gurus, Nityalila Parishara Gaur Govinda Maharaj, Nityalila Parishara Bhaktivedanta Vikram Maharaj, Nityalila Parishara Bhaktivedanta Vaman Maharaj, Nityalila Parishara Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Maharaj, O Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, thank you for coming to hear Bhagavatam. So today is end of third day. So today, crossing the ocean of the ninth canto, fourth day. Crossing the ocean of the ninth canto, entering to 10th canto day. So today we'll hear the glories of Ambarish Maharaj, descent of the Ganga, the glories of Parasuram. We heard of Sunday a little bit. And then the beginning of 10th canto. Actually, our goal is 10th canto. Lord Ram. I didn't say Ram. Lord Ram. And then 10th canto. Our goal is 10th canto. That is the smiling face of Sri Krishna. But to make a platform to understand the position of Krishna, we hear the first 9 cantos. Because the Supreme Lord is never devoid of his position and opulence. Unless you understand the opulence of Krishna, when you hear the sweetness of Krishna, you will not feel astonishment. You will not feel ras. Ras means chamakarata. Feeling of astonishment. Therefore, to build a platform for the experience of this bhakti ras, and we're hearing these 9 cantos. These 9 cantos also nectar. Also Krishna Katha is there, beginning, middle and end. So this morning also, so many incarnations. We heard about Matsya, Kurma, Dhanvantari, the appearance of Mohini Murti. So many things we discussed this morning. Vaman Dev. So most of the Dasavatar we crossed this morning. Therefore, Ambarish Maharaj, he comes from a great dynasty. Therefore, Manu Maharaj, in his dynasty coming Nabag. Nabag was, he left and performed austerities in the ashram of his guru. Therefore, his 4 brothers thought he will not return. Therefore, they divided the kingdom amongst all 4 of them. And when he returned and asked his brothers, "Where's my share of the kingdom?" they said, "You have no share." Na Bag. Bag means share. No share. That's your name. No, Na Bag. Your share is our old father. Then the Bag became happy. He began serving his father. And then the instructions of his father, he said, now the rishis are performing fire sacrifice. And if you go there, at the end of the charity, they will give you all the wealth. By the time we think Kali Yuga is very wealthy, we have plastic plates, rubber shoes, synthetic cloth, and we think we are very much advanced. But in those ages, the sacrifices were performed with golden utensils. Like when people come to the Sunday feast, we give them a plastic plate to throw out. That time people would eat off golden plates and throw. So how much opulence they had. Those ages everyone would serve the Lord, therefore where the Lord is served, all opulence is there. So Nabag went there and his father gave him 2 mantras that glorified Bhagavan Vasudeva, Sri Krishna. So when the sages heard those mantras, they became very happy. All the wealth here at the end of the sacrifice is yours. But when Nabag went to pick it up, one very black personality came from the north. Who was he? Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva said, don't touch anything. Everything in the sacrificial arena belongs to me. After yajna, we should not just grab fruits and flowers. No, we leave a little bit there. That share is Lord Shiva's. He takes the remnants of everything. He said, you go and ask your father if this is true. So Nabag was very truthful. He went and asked his father. When I was about to take the wealth, one very dark person came and said, all of this is mine. He became very happy. He said, this is Lord Shiva. What he says is true. Lord Shiva was testing his truthfulness. So Nabag came back, yes, Maharaj, everything is yours. You can take. Then Lord Shiva was very happy. Lord Shiva was asutosh, easily pleased. Then Shiva said, I give it all to you. So Nabag, a great person. His son was Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj ki jai. Ambarish Maharaj is the example of Sudabhakta. Pure devotee. Even though he was emperor of the entire earth planet, he had no attachment to it at all, because he was absorbed in devotion. How he spent his time. Even though he was the king, he would engage himself personally in the worship of the Lord. Okay, Mary? He would engage all his senses, especially on the day of Ekadasi. Ekadas, das means 10, ek means 1. Ekadas means 11. 11 days after the full moon, 11 days after the new moon, that is Ekadasi in the lunar calendar. What? Ekadasi means what? Only eating 11 types of potatoes. That is not Ekadasi. Real Ekadasi means 11 senses engaging in the service of Bhagavan. There's especially so many fasting days these days. Nityanandapuru, Sri Advaita, and Ekadasi. All devotees feeling starch poisoning. But Ekadasi does not just mean avoiding grains. As Guru Maharaj used to say, if you say, no, I'm only eating fruits, but you eat 15 kilos of mangoes, is this Ekadasi? Guru Maharaj used to say that. Ekadasi means engaging all your 11 senses in the service of the Lord. That is the real Ekadasi. So how will he do? Savaimana Krishna Padara Bindo Vatamsi Vaikunta Gunanavana Karo Harir Mandira Majana Vido Srutim Chakra Chuta Sat Katavade. He would use his mind to think of Krishna. Most important. Because mind is Manuraj, the king of all senses. So mind is controlled, all senses will be controlled. In fact, if we make a show of controlling senses but do not control the stupid mind, then what is that? Krishna says that is like hypocrisy. One who makes a show of meditation but is thinking of sense enjoyment, then that person is like a crane. A crane is standing on one leg in the water, like a big yogi. His eyes are half closed, very still. But what is he thinking about? When fish will come. Therefore, most importantly, one should think of Krishna. Indeed, that is the essence of all spiritual life. Yena, tena, prakarena, mana Krishna samsevi. Never anyhow, by any means, think of Krishna, remember him. Sarva vidinesidiyo etayo yavakinkam. That is the essence of spiritual life. And all other rules are to help one with that. So one should remember Krishna. Therefore, he will use his mind to always think of Krishna. Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanavana. He used his sense of speech to always glorify the Lord. To always speak Vaikunta Katha, Vrindavan Katha. Karo Harir Mandira Majanavas. He used his hands, Kara, to clean the temple of the Lord. Even though he was the emperor of the entire world, he would personally serve the deities with his own hands. These days, anyone serves the deities, what do? Pay someone else to serve the Lord. But the Lord never accepts an offering from a paid pujari. He never accepts. It's a very sad thing in temples all around the world, especially ISKCON. That pujaris are paid, temple president is paid, brahmachari, everyone is paid. Then where's the question of devotion? Where's the question of devotion? Krishna doesn't need those offerings, he is self-satisfied. Therefore, Gaudiya Math, no paid. Therefore, Gurudev would often say, if you want money, business opportunities, good marriages, etc., go there. But if you want Harikatha, come to me. Therefore, there was some years ago, there was some talk, we should maintain devotees, do this, that. Guru Maharaj said, never. And where's the question of devotion if we're getting paid? So the king with his own hands, he would perform the Seva Puja. And Shrutim Chakra Chuta Satkatore. He would use his ears to always hear the Lord. He would Mukunda Lingalaya Darshana Driso. He would use his eyes to always see the deity form. Tat Britta Gatra Spasha Angasangamama. Angasangama. He would use his body to embrace the body of the Vaishnavas. Not Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas should embrace Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas should embrace Vaishnavas, but it should not be mixed. Otherwise, that is the real definition of mixed devotional service. So the body should be used to serve the Vaishnavas. He will use his nose to smell the tulsi leaves which have been offered to the Lord. And he will use his tongue to taste the tulsi leaves which have been offered. Pado Hari Chatra Padanusapane Siro Rishikesh Padabibavi Vandane. He'd use his head to bow to the Lord. He'd use his feet to walk to the holy places. Kamam Chadasya Natukama Kamaye. He would use all his desires to fulfill the desires of the Lord. In this way, he develops so much attraction to Krishna. Therefore, how many here? 11 senses. Therefore, for the devotee, these senses are not a disturbance, not a trouble. For the devotee easily controls the mind and senses by engaging him in the service of the Lord. So that is Ambarish. He is the Sudha Bhakta. Even though Ambarish Maharaj is considered as a sadhak, a practicing devotee, for this reason that he engaged in the service of the Lord, he is considered to be even more exalted than devotees like Prahlad, who had already achieved complete perfection. When Prahlad appeared before the Lord, did Prahlad do any seva, any service? Did he think, oh Lord, you are hungry and thirsty, can I get you something? Maybe you are cold, maybe you are tired after the fight with Hiranyakasipu. Can I massage you? He never thought. He thought, here's the Supreme Lord who has a spiritual body, no hunger and thirst. How you can serve someone like that? The Prahlad Maharaj and Shantaras, always absorbed in meditation but not seva. But Ambarish Maharaj is superior because he engaged himself in serving the Lord. Therefore, the non-devotees, for them, these senses are great obstacles for the yogis. But therefore the senses are like poisonous snakes. But if you pull the teeth out of a snake, anyone afraid of that snake? For devotees, all their senses are absorbed in the service of the Lord. Therefore the senses never disturb them. Like we will hear Haridas Thakur. How alone in a solitary place one beautiful young girl, prostitute, she approached. Thakur tum paramasundari pratam yogani kaunari tumadeki dalite tarama. Imagine, alone in a solitary place. She approached and said, you are very beautiful, Haridas, and you are in the prime of youth. Any woman who sees you cannot control herself. Please satisfy the burning within my breast and embrace me. I am yours. If that was us, what would happen? No one would think about it. The senses are very, very powerful, easily agitated. Especially the mind. Arjuna says, oh Krishna, Chanchala Mana Krishna. Oh Krishna, the mind is very hard to control. Easier to control the wind and the ocean than to control the mind. But for the devotee, easily they control the mind. The devotee easily their senses are controlled because their senses are absorbed in the sweetness of the service of Krishna. Therefore, even that young girl could not attract the mind of Haridas Thakur. But we hear many, many yogis falling down due to sexual desire, but we never hear of high-class devotees. Because Krishna is Madan Mohan. Cupid is called Madan. But Krishna is called Madan Mohan. He attracts the minds even of millions of cupids. That is the beauty of Krishna. The one who sees the smiling face of Shyam Sundar, one who chants his nectarian holy name, then where's the question of disturbance? So Ambarish Maharaj is the ideal example of Sudha Bhakta, pure devotee. Therefore Ambarish Maharaj would offer everything he possessed to the service of the Lord, and as ideal king, also all the citizens were also engaged in the service of Vasudeva. Therefore he would follow the Vrata of Ekadasi, the vow of Ekadasi. Every devotee, he must follow Ekadasi. Everyone must follow Ekadasi. There's not even an option. If one does not follow Ekadasi, he cannot even be considered a Vaishnava or devotee. That much it's powerful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his sampradaya has 2 rules. Chant Harinam, follow Ekadasi. This is the life and soul of the devotee. Because it's Madhav Titi. No drinking in the temple room. Thank you. That is Madhav Titi. Guru Maharaj says Ekadasi is not just a day. Krishna himself has become the day of Ekadasi. I mean, that day is non different than Krishna. Guru Maharaj says, which is greater, Janmashtami, the appearance day of Krishna, or Ekadasi, which is greater? Ekadasi is greater. Why? Come on, Janmashtami is the appearance day of the Supreme Lord. But Ekadasi is greater because Ekadasi is the appearance day of devotion. And devotion is always superior to Krishna. She always controls Krishna. By bhakti, someone who understands Krishna, therefore devotion is superior to Krishna. Therefore Ekadasi is more important than Janmashtami. We can give up our life, but we cannot give up this vow. This is life and soul and devotion. So the king, even though he lived in Madhya Pradesh, the middle of India, every day, twice a month, he would go to Vrindavan and he would follow Ekadasi there. How? Not like us, filling the stomach 3 times a day. He's Ekadasi, this is called the gold medal Ekadasi. On the day before Ekadasi, one eats once. On the day of Ekadasi, one does not eat at all, one does not even drink, one does not even take water, one does not sleep. Anyone ever done that? Nirjala without sleeping at night. Your Guru Maharaj would do every Ekadasi. So the Bhakti promote Puri Maharaj would do every Ekadasi like that. And he was 100 years old. How old are we? Because they have love for Krishna, they can do very happily with it. Because Srila Maharaj, anyway, many things are there. Ekadasi Taka. So, because on these days, the body, like when the full moon and the black moon come, the new moon, the tides of the oceans move so much. Therefore, Guru Maharaj says on the day of Ekadasi, these days, that's when you see everyone go mad, and that's when you see everyone die in hospitals. Full moon? One day I was talking to a policeman, I told him that, he goes, it's true, full moon is crazy. So many nutcases and crying. Because this body is made of 85% water. Therefore the new moon and full moon, because of so much water in the body, people lose control of their mind. Also the moon is the presiding deity of the mind. Therefore by fasting on Ekadasi and not eating grains, all the excess water in the body is purged. Therefore one who fasts on Ekadasi will never experience mental sickness or disease if one does properly. So the king, not only he would follow, he would make all the citizens follow. So imagine all night, not sleeping, performing Hari Kirtan. And the next day, on the day of Dwadasi, one breaks the fast. So for those who follow Ekadasi should know the rules. Next day one should break the fast within a certain period that is called Pala. So, the citizens of the state of Ambarish Maharaj were always accustomed to hearing and chanting the glories of Sri Krishna. Therefore they never desired mystic perfections, elevations of the planet of the demigods. They did not desire anything except devotion. When the king is ideal, citizens will be ideal. When Guru is ideal, disciple must also be ideal. So therefore King Ambarish Maharaj gave a perfect example. So imagine eating once in 2 days at the time of pardon, breaking the fast. The king distributed so much charity. He distributed foodstuffs to the Brahmanas, first to the Vaishnavas, the Brahmanas, then the common people, beggars, even animals. Then the king sat down. He was about to take his prasad to break the fast of Ekadasi. That time who came? Durvasa Rishi Maharaj. They were a little afraid of Durvasa. Because he is the portion of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva means tamagun, too much anger. So the appearance of Durvasa, that is a very long story. Anyhow, Durvasa is a partial expansion of Lord Shiva. He is a great devotee, but he is disguising himself as a yogi, as a non-devotee. The Durvasa came there, king, I am very hungry. I will accept charity from you. And he said, come Maharaj, take your khichdi. No, first I will take bath. He went to the Yamuna because the king would do his Ekadasi in Vrindavan. And when he was taking bath, he was absorbed in doing his Gayatri and meditation. So much time was passing. So that window of breaking the fast is fixed. The king became full of anxiety. What should I do? If I do not break the fast, I become guilty of not properly respecting the courtesy. Therefore my devotion will be destroyed, damaged. My devotion will be lost. But if I eat before the guest, that is also disrespect, a breaking of social etiquette. Also, definitely that yogi will be angry, he will curse me. What should I do? Should I follow the rules and regulations of this world, or should I follow the rules and regulations of devotion? What would you do, Sita? According to where we have the greatest faith, we will do that. If a devotee always follows devotion, they never follow anything else. And should we fear for that? Sometimes we have to make a choice. Doesn't we go to the Thanksgiving dinner? All are there. Serving wine, dead faces, chickens, turkeys. All families there looking. So, would you like leg or breasts? How many beers would you like? That time, what are you going to do? All families angry? What type of person are you? This, that? What do you do? Can I, what do you do? Do not touch those. We do not do anything which is against devotion. Your devotee family will never happen. We have to make choices of God. Therefore, a person who makes the right choice, they pass the test. Srila Bhagavan used to say. In material life, if you get 50%, you go to the next class. But in spiritual life, unless you get 100% pass, you cannot advance to the next level. Therefore, he said, Hari, Guru, Vaishnava are always examining us, always testing. You have to pass the test. Then he was thinking, I choose devotion. Therefore, he asked the Brahmins, the devotees, what should I do? How can I save my devotion? The devotees gave advice. Maharaj, you take water, Charnamrita, that has washed the deity's lotus feet. If you drink water, that is considered breaking the fast and also considered not breaking the fast, because you're not eating anything technically. Ambarish Maharaj, he took 3 drops of Charnamrita. Durvasa Rishi immediately understood. Because he knows past, present, future. Some years ago there was a big argument, does the Guru really know past, present, future? Bhagavat, is he omniscient? Even people like Durvasa Rishi are omniscient, they have no devotion to the Supreme Lord. What to speak of the pure devotee? When he knows Krishna, he knows everything. Krishna lets him know what he needs to know for himself. Sometimes it may happen Krishna does not desire that devotee to know something. Sometimes even Radharani does not know when Krishna is coming to disguise. Even Balaram did not know. What to speak of anyone else? You can only know what Krishna wants you to know. To that degree you are omniscient, to that degree Krishna wants you to be, allows you to be. But generally speaking, the pure devotee is always omniscient. Therefore the Durvasa Rishi could immediately understand. What? One point is there, pure devotee may not show that he is omniscient. It means he is not revealing to you. That is his choice. He may cheat you by pretending not to be. That is another point completely. Whether he manifests to you is another thing. But he is always omniscient. In stage of Bhav Bhakti, Srila Bhagavan said very clearly, one achieves the state of omniscience. Not to speak of the parakas and so on. So Durvasa Rishi became very angry. He became the king, low-class king. You think you are superior to me? You have disrespected me. Therefore I will now kill you. And from his head he took a dreadlock, cast it on the ground. That became a huge fire demon. Her name was Kritika. Immediately he said, kill him. That fire demon approached the king. The king was not afraid. Completely without fear, he simply remembered Krishna. He was not praying, oh Krishna, save my bacon, save me. He did not even pray for that. Oh Krishna, Rak or be Mad or be Joicha to have. Krishna, you kill me or save me, that is up to you, I belong to you. So the devotee had no fear for his own protection. He simply remembered Krishna, fearless. Abhaya charanara vindure bhajahure mana Srinandanandanam Abhaya charanara vindure. One who remembers Krishna is completely fearless. Why? He's so much absorbed in Krishna, he doesn't care what happens. It said the highest class devotee is so much absorbed in the pastimes They don't even know when they're born and when they die. That much they're off the body concept of life. Can we imagine? There was one devotee, Chaitanya Charamrita describes. He was very poor, therefore his guru recommended you perform manasi seva, seva by mind. So he was, because in mind there were no limitations, so he was making golden pots and cooking many preparations in his mind. Then one day he was cooking sweet rice. So the pujari should be careful. The priest, if he offers anything to Krishna, it should not be too hot. Is Krishna a stone or a piece of marble or metal? No, he's a person. Even a mother, before he gives something to the baby, they test it. What to speak of giving to Krishna? There was one devotee took around, a great devotee, but his wife was dead against Krishna. So sometimes Tukaram was always absorbed in chanting the holy name. Sometimes he asked his wife, you offer. So wife was offering hot milk and she just gave like that, take. And Tukaram came, he saw Krishna was like that. Because Krishna had drank the hot milk and so hot. If they did it, Padarang even today, his face is a little like that, to one side. And Tukaram came and said, foolish woman, how you could give Krishna hot milk? And she said, what problem for Krishna? He drank the forest fire, what's a bit of hot milk for him? So these are some things. Huh? So the devotee was cooking sweet rice. This was all in his meditation. Then he put his finger in the sweet rice to check whether it's too hot or not. It was so hot, it burnt his finger, his meditation broke. And when he awoke from his meditation, where was he? In the spiritual world. Actually, he'd already died during his meditation. But he was so much absorbed, he did not know, because no bodily connection. So Ambarish Maharaj, that type of Vaishnava. So no bodily connection, no bodily sense. We hear we're not the body. The devotee on this platform can realize it. So we have no fear. Completely surrender to the Lord. But the Lord, will he allow harm to come to such a devotee? Krishna immediately sent his weapon, that is the Sudarshan Chakra, the disc weapon of the Lord, which burns like millions of suns, sharper than a razor, infallibly. It immediately it burned the fire demon to ashes. Then it began chasing Durvasa Rishi. Durvasa Rishi cried, it's Armageddon. Armageddon out of him. He ran. But no matter where he ran, the Sudarshan Chakra would follow behind him. Everywhere he looked in the rear vision mirror, he could see this weapon of the Supreme Lord just behind him, burning him slightly. He ran in the oceans, the mountains, the lower planets, the higher planets, in the sky, in the earth, everywhere he ran, the chakra would follow him. Then finally he ran to Lord Brahma. Salvene, salvene. Save me, save me. Then what did Lord Brahma say, the creator of the universe? Haribol. Haribol. I cannot help you. The Supreme Lord destroys the creation just by moving his eyebrows. What to speak of the weapon, the ultimate weapon of the Supreme Lord? I cannot help you. Then he went to Lord Shiva. I believe Lord Shiva also said, what we can do before the prowess of the Supreme Lord. So that Lord Shiva looked through what's that hole called in the door? Peephole. I'm not opening this. I cannot help you. This is the weapon of the Supreme Lord. Baba, good luck. You're going to need it. Then Durvasa Rishi thought, this weapon belongs to Vishnu, I'll go to him. Therefore he entered Vaikuntha. And there was Lord Vishnu, Rampriya Vaikuntha, the Vaikuntha in this world. Save me, protect me. I take shelter of you. And what did Lord Vishnu say? Aham bhakta paradino hiya swatanta eva dvija sarube grasta vidayo bhaktir bhakta janapriyo. I cannot help you, I am not independent. What? You are not independent? All the scriptures says here is swara, statis, swara, chates, abhigya, swara. In the first verse of Bhagavatam, we hear the Supreme Lord is Swarat, self-manifest. And he is saying he is not independent. He said, yes, because I do not belong to myself. I belong to my devotees. Sadunam Hridayam Mayam, Sadudam Hridayam Toyam Matnam Yette Me Manajapita Ham Tenya Janaka. I am completely captured by my devotees. They always reside in my heart. I always think of them. They always think of me. We are one. We are one soul. If I do not belong to me, who do I belong to? I belong to Ambarish Maharaj. Such is the power of devotion. We sing, Krishna said, Tuma, Krishna dite paro, Tumara sakati ache. Amitu Kangal, Krishna Krishna boli, Daita Vapache Pache. Krishna belongs to you, Vaishnava. You can give him to whomever you want. Therefore, Daita Vapache Pache. For that reason, I am running behind you. Therefore, who can imagine the position of the devotees? Tumara Hridaya Sada Govinda Vishram Govinda Kuhena Mama Vaishnav Para. Krishna always resides happily in the heart of the devotee. And the devotee gives us Krishna very easily. How? By Katha. Even Vaishnava is so merciful, said we should run behind the Vaishnava, when in Kali Yuga the Vaishnavas are running behind the conditioned souls. Take Krishna, chant his name. Who can imagine the magnanimity of those pure devotees? How they give us Krishna? Jana, translate word. How the devotees give us Krishna? By Katha and by mantra. One time Srila Gokuma said, after initiation, don't ask me where is Krishna. I've already given you Krishna in the form of Harinam. So, Naham Atmanam Asheshe Mad Bhakte Sadhava Bina Sriyam Chatyantikam Brahman Visangati Raham Para. Without my devotees, I have no desire to taste my own bliss. I have no desire to enjoy my opulences without my devotees. Means, by association with the devotees, the Lord experiences more bliss that is within him, or even in the Vaikuntha planets. Such is the power of the devotion. Because the devotee is empowered by Ladini Shakti, Bhakti Shakti. What is Ladini Shakti? That potency which has the power to give happiness to Krishna. And who carries the Ladini Shakti? That is Radhika. And Radharani's devotees also carry that same Ladini Shakti. Therefore we always see Krishna running behind the devotees, pleased with his begging bowl in his hand. I have nothing without you, I have nothing without you, I have nothing without you. That much Krishna becomes, that much the devotee has this Ladini Shakti, to that much Krishna becomes subordinate, controlled by them. We see in Braj, Krishna always running behind everyone. Because devotees have nectar which Krishna wants to taste that nectar. Therefore now Muni says, do not think that the Brijabasis are attracted to Krishna, that would be a great mistake. Rather you think that the Krishna cannot give up the Brijabasis even for a second. Kotai go Premamoni Radhe Radhe. Therefore Krishna moving everywhere in Vrindavan. Oh Radhe, where are you? Oh Radharani, where are you? Eva dake niduvan, eva dake talavan. Kotai go Premamoni Radhe Radhe. Who is singing this song really, you know? Krishna himself is singing this. Krishna is moving Talvan, Niduvan, Radhakun, Shankun. He's looking, where is Radharani? Where is Radharani? Because she carries that Ladini Shakti. And devotee also carries that Ladini Shakti. Therefore Lord Krishna says, Bhagavan says, without my devotees I'm not interested in tasting of my own bliss or the bliss of my opulences. Without the devotees I have nothing. Imagine. And we're so much foolish, we doubt devotees like that. Therefore, Jigo Phalam, Tapisha, Kirtanam, to speak about such Vaishnava, that is perfection of the tongue. Aksno Phalam, Tadisha, Dashanami, perfection of the eyes is to see such a Vaishnava. Perfection of the body is to touch such a Vaishnava. With Bhagavati, Sudulabahi Loke, but such a devotee of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, very, very rare in this world. Even to hear about such a Vaishnava, that is too much good fortune. One time one devotee asked Gurudev how I can do bhajan like Raghunath Goswami. The Guru said, in this life you are lucky even to hear his name, Raghunath Goswami. So, O best of the Brahmanas, without saintly persons, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and my opulences. I just desire the association of my devotees. Therefore, ye daraga putrata pavan vitamimam param hitva mam saranam yata katamidas tvatum utsahe. Pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives to serve me. They have no desire for material improvement in this life or the next life. If they have given up everything for me, how can I give them up? Therefore, I do not belong to myself. My Sudarshan Chakra also does not belong to me. My Vaikuntha planets do not belong to me. Everything I am keeping for my Vaishnavas, my devotees. Therefore, as a chaste woman controls her husband by seva. All you ladies out there listening? Really, we hear these things we not understand. I not understand first. Or wives who fighting with their husbands and try and control their husbands by force. Husband just runs. Family disintegrates. We see millions of times. Intelligent women, how they control? They have too much affection and service. Then they actually control the husband. In the same way as an intelligent woman controls her husband by affection and by seva, my devotees never try to control me by force. How do they do? By seva. Therefore, Narayan explaining all the glories of the devotees by his own mouth. Radha. So, when Devasa Rishi heard this, therefore, please give me some idea how I can be saved. O Brahmana, let me advise you for your own protection. Hear from me, by offending Ambarish Maharaj, you have acted with self-envy. How's that? Srila Maharaj said, Guru is really the soul of the soul. Oyam Dritya Bhavanesa Tasad, Isad Vipasya Vipari Osmiti, Karmayatam Bhajat Abhijatvam Bhakteki Shande, Guru Devakuna. Who is Guru? He is not some outside person. We should never think, I'm one person. Guru is a separate person. If you serve like that, you cannot serve with intimacy. Especially in our Gaudiya Sampradaya. In our Gaudiya Sampradaya, what intimacy there is between Guru and Dasai, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. The time devotees are never thinking Guru is a separate person. Because they have surrendered completely to Gurudev, they become Gurudevs. They become no different than Guru in every way. Just like you put iron into fire. Therefore Gurudev always says, I never make disciples, I make Gurus. The disciple becomes one with Guru. We do not see that type of intimacy in any other sampradaya. In this sampradaya we see. If the Guru becomes the soul of the soul. If unless we serve like that, how we can develop devotion? So, point was that Guru Maharaj one time said, when someone goes to beat us, what do we do? But really, what are we doing? Are we protecting this body? Guru Maharaj says, really, no. Because inside the soul is what? Krishna is there. So when someone goes to beat us and we do that, really, even though we cannot understand, that is to save and protect Krishna, who is the soul of the soul. The Guru Maharaj said, who is the soul of Krishna? Sita, who is the soul of Krishna? The devotees. Radha and Guru, Vijabhasa. Because Krishna always carries them in his heart, therefore they are the soul of Krishna. So when someone goes to beat us and we do that, really we are protecting Guru, the core of the heart. Someone who feels these things, they can have bhakti. The disciple never thinks this body belongs to me. Think this body is also Gurudev's. I am Gurudev's. So one has this type of Guru Bhakti, easily devotion comes running behind it. So Bhakti Kisham Guru Devakana. Guru is really the soul of the soul. And one who serves him like that, that person achieves everything very easily. Therefore, everyone is serving Krishna. Who is the soul of Krishna? That is the pure Vaishnava. Such a position they have. We cannot imagine. One thing, when I first came to Bhubaneswar, because we hear we are servants of Krishna. Then we enter Gaudiya Vaishnavas and we hear, no, actually you are not servant of Krishna, you are the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. So I was a little bewildered. So I asked for the Gaudiya. I cannot understand, are we servant of Krishna? Or are we servant of Guru? Because Guru says you are a servant of Krishna and Krishna says you are a servant of Guru. So who am I? I'm not quite sure. The $1,000,000 question, who am I? And Gautam he reached, slapped me on the side of the head. Paka. So surprised, I was not expecting that. Then he grabbed me and he was shaking. Try and understand, Guru is very, very dear to Sri Radha Govinda. If he has accepted, means Guru. If he has accepted you, means Radha Krishna have accepted you. Why are you thinking different? You understand? I said, I try. Then again, but I remember when he was shaking, I could feel like millions of lifetimes just falling. Really amazing experience. So when Krishna accepts us, when he gives us at the feet of Guru, that means Krishna is fully accepted. And the problem is, Guru accepts us, are we accepting Guru? That is the problem. What do we mean Jagat Guru? He's Guru of the whole world. But who is accepting him, that is the problem. So, Krishna himself explained the glories of the devotees. Otherwise, how we will understand? Everybody's hearing. Oh my God. Therefore, you should go to him immediately without delay for a moment. One's so-called power, when used against the devotee, simply harms the person who uses it. Sometimes people become envious of devotees. They use their speech, their words, their wealth, their knowledge against the Vaishnava. Does the Vaishnava have a problem? Never. There's a saying in Bengal, if the crow curses a cow, will it work? In the same way, low-class person abuses Vaishnava, will the Vaishnava have any problem? No, never have any problem. They're protected by the arms of the Lord. If we should never use our energies against the devotees. No, not even in dreams. There's one story. Thakur Bhaktivinoda, he caught the king of Jagannath Puri stealing money from the temple. So because he was a district magistrate, he ordered the punishment, bang. You have to serve Jagannath 56 times a day. Food. So what happened? All the king's money was finished really quickly. Then the king became very angry against Thakur Bhaktivinoda. Oh, I'll kill him. But you cannot just hire a gunda and go and stab him or something, because immediately everyone will understand who's done it. So then, the king tried to kill Bhaktivinoda Thakur by black magic, by yagya, tantra. So 1 month in a closed room, the Brahmanas were doing black magic against Thakur Bhaktivinoda. Thakur Bhaktivinoda knew some spies were there telling him, and he never did anything. So when that Brahmin, or whatever he is, when that demon, tantric, was offering the last oblation in the fire. By that oblation, Bhaktivinoda Thakur will die. As soon as he put that oblation in the fire, what happened? At that moment, the king's own son died. And the king will realize, who is this Bhaktivinoda Thakur? But the devotees never act to defend themselves. Never. Bhagavan always takes care. Therefore, you should immediately go and surrender to Ambarish Maharaj. I cannot help you. I do not belong to myself. Go to him without a moment's delay. Therefore, O king, you should go immediately to Ambarish, the son of Maharaj Nabad. I wish you all good fortune. If you satisfy Ambarish Maharaj, then you will be peaceful. Just like if a thorn goes on your foot, you cannot take it out by the shoulder. If you offend a devotee, you cannot go to the Supreme Lord, beg forgiveness. What do you have to do? You have to go to that devotee you offended and beg forgiveness. As Srila Govind used to say, Vaishnava bride is very rare, because first you have to find a Vaishnava. Who is a Vaishnava? That is very hard also. And then, next mission impossible, you have to offend him. Not easy to offend a Vaishnava, because they're very kind and very merciful. But if you do manage the impossible, to find the pure Vaishnava, and then to offend him, what should you do? There's no use running and crying to Krishna. You have to go to that devotee who you blaspheme. And what should you do? That mouth that blasphemed him, that mouth you have to beg apology. If you did anything against them with physical violence, with those hands, you have to serve him. If asking forgiveness is not enough, Narottam Das Thakur says, no, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, I'm sorry. No, it's not enough. Mouth is not enough. You have to satisfy them by service. So that is one secret. if we are foolish enough to somehow commit offense to devotee, we must immediately go and catch their feet and beg forgiveness. Otherwise devotion will evaporate, it will never enter your heart. Supreme Lord will never accept it. So therefore, Durvasa Rishi, when he could not understand the glories of devotee till he heard it from the mouth of the Lord Vishnu himself, therefore he ran back, fell at the feet of Ambarish Maharaj, save me, save me. How long was Durvasa Rishi running around the universe? 1 year. For 1 year, Ambarish Maharaj stood and offered prayers. Oh, please, Sudarshan Chakra with 1,000 spokes. No one can check your prowess. I have done any good activities if I have ever served the Lord or chanted His name or satisfied Him in any way. All my good activities I donate to Durvasa Rishi. Otherwise, how the Sudarshan Chakra could not have killed him because of the prayers of Ambarish Maharaj. The yogi fell at the feet of Durvasa. I'm very sorry, I beg forgiveness, I could not understand your position. And Vaishnava is very soft, very kind. Therefore, Gurudev, anyone who committed offense, anyone who came with just one tear, I'm very sorry, immediately he forgave. This is the nature of Vaishnava. But sometimes it may be that offense is so serious, Vaishnava will not forgive. It can be also. Sometimes we see some devotee make very, very, very grievous aparat, completely dissatisfy him. And what to do then? Very rare that Vaishnava holds his anger. That person consistently disobey, or make some huge offense. So it may be that Vaishnava will not forgive you. What can you do then? That time you have nothing else to do, you have to chant the holy name and weep. And pray to Krishna. Come from the core of the heart, then that offense may be forgiven. So, Durvasa, he prayed. Indeed, Samukta Strangi Tapena, when the greatly powerful yogi Durvasa surrendered at the feet of Durvasa, immediately Sudarshan Chakra disappeared. And Durvasa Rishi offered prayers, Aho Ananta Dasaya Mahatma Madhudusame Kritagasopi Yadraja Mangalam Shantashe. Oh, just see the glories of the pure devotees of Ananta. Today I have seen with my own eyes. I tried to kill him and he prayed for my benefit. He prayed for my welfare. And a few years ago, the ISKCON gurus, they were going to see Gurudev. And one lady, she said to Gurudev, Gurudev, why are you giving them such high teachings? You know they don't really respect you. They're just trying to steal some knowledge from you. Gurudev said, I know. And in a few years, all of them will become against him. And she asked, then why are you doing this? He said, now their minds are a little good, let me give as much as I can. That is the glories of the Vaishnavas. Even though people may offend, they're very kind. Anyway, therefore, Duskara Kunasadunam Dustejo Va Mahatmanam Ya Sangrito Bhagavan Sapatam Vishabo Hari Yannama Sruti Matrina Puman Bhavati Nimala Tasyati Tapadam Kimba Dasamama Vishishyate. For those who have achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is anything impossible for them? After all, Yadnama Sruti Matrina. If someone hears the name of Krishna even once, Purnam Bhavati Nimala, he becomes completely purified. Then what to speak of that person who has seen the Lord face to face? Nothing is impossible for him. The king, what is impossible for the servants of the Lord? After all, simply hearing his name, one becomes purified. Therefore, O king, you forgave my offenses and you saved my life. I am very much obliged by your greatness, your mercy. Thus, Ambarish offered prayers again and again, but Ambarish Maharaj would not allow him. He reached him up and embraced him. He fed him prasad and gave him so much respect. And Durvasa Rishi went and glorified the devotees. So Vaishnavas are so great. Even if we had millions of miles, we could not finish there. We could not even touch one speck of their greatness. So what is the Sudarshan Chakra? Sudarshan. Darshan means to see. Sudarshan means to see properly. That mercy of the Lord which enables us to properly see Krishna and his devotees, that is called the Sudarshan Chakra. Who is that Sudarshan Chakra? Guru Maharaj says, none different than Bhagavan Nishradev. Therefore, on the top of the temple, what do we install on top of the temple? Sudarshan Chakra. Why? His grace gives us the mercy to properly, when we go in the temple, to properly understand the Vaishnavas, Bhagavan, and devotion himself. Ambarish Maharaj ki jai, jai jai Sri Radhe. Yes. Yes. Cuts away all obstacles, all bad visions, bad mentality. For 1 year he was following Ambarish Maharaj, therefore 1 year too much purifying. When he could go and see Lord Krishna, he could also understand who is Ambarish Maharaj. Some Vaishnava Kirtan. Hey Bada Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosha. Hey Bada Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosha. Hey Bada Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosha. Then Sukadeva Goswami is further describing the dynasties coming from Ambarish Maharaj. So amongst them was Saga Maharaj. He was performing horse Ashwamedha Yagya. But what happened? The horse disappeared. Therefore he sent his 10,000 sons looking, where is that sacrificial horse? That horse had gone and was staying in the ashram of Kapila Rishi, incarnation of the Lord. When the 10,000 sons saw, oh, this so-called guy pretending to be a saintly person must have stolen the horse, the 10,000 sons of Saga attacked him. Then Kapila Dev opened his eyes and burnt them to ashes. When Saga Maharaj heard his sons had been killed, not only that, they'd been cremated, he became very sad how to deliver them. Therefore he heard you should bring the Ganga to this world. But he performed austerities. He could not bring the Ganga. The Gangas are always in the heavenly planets. This morning we forgot to mention when Lord Bhamana Dev reached up with his first step and pierced the coverings of the universe, that time the Ganga flowed. That is the Gavadak ocean. No, the coronal ocean, the causal ocean. And what is that foot-bathing water of Lord Brahman? That is the Ganga. So Saga, his relative Asumanjasya, he tried, could not bring. His son Anusaman, he tried, could not bring. His son Dalip performed austerities, he could not bring the Ganga. And Father Dalip's son Bhagirath Maharaj. Bhagirath Maharaj ki jai. He pleased the Ganga agreed to descend to this earth planet. But she said, I can come, but I am afraid of one thing. In Kali Yuga, there are many, mostly persons are sinful. All chicken eaters, McDonald eaters, alcoholics, all types of questionable persons. When they come and bathe in my water will be contaminated by their sins. And Bhagavat Maharaj said, do not fear. Because when any saintly Vaishnava takes bath in your water, you will become purified. Therefore Gananga, tomorrow, Ganga Parasa Hoile Pasata Pavan Dasana Pavitra Kore Tumara. Therefore seeing a Vaishnava is even more powerful than taking bath in the holy rivers like the Ganga. Because even the Ganga is purified by the feet of the pure devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Ganga said, I can come, but my current is very forceful. I may push the earth planet down to the lower planetary systems. Therefore, who will carry my current on their head? Lord Shiva. Therefore, Bhagavad Maharaj performed austerities and pleased Lord Shiva. Therefore, when the Ganga fell on his head, she had some pride. Therefore, Lord Shiva defeated her pride by wrapping his dreadlocks. The Ganga could not escape. Then Bhagavad Maharaj again tried to please Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva allowed the Ganga out by opening one of his locks. Therefore you see Lord Shiva, why is he worshipped, Siddha? Why is Lord Shiva worshipped? What's good about him? He lives in a filthy place. His associates are ghosts and spirits. He is decorated by bones and ashes. He wanders around like a madman. Therefore really he is the most inauspicious person. Brahman Maharaj. You know, Brahman Maharaj used to say, what is Shiva about Shiva? What is auspicious about Shiva? Because he carries the Charnamrita of Lord Vishnu on his head, therefore he is worshipping the three gods. So the Ganga came to that earth planet, touched the sons of 10,000 sons of Saga Maharaj. They achieved what is of demigods and went to the heavenly planets. Therefore Ganga Devi. Therefore Ganga has many names. One of those names is Bhagavati, because she was brought to this world by the mercy of Bhagavat Maharaj. Then next is mentioned the pastimes of Parasuram, famous incarnation. His nickname is Ram of the Axe. Paras means axe, Ram, axe Ram. He was empowered incarnation of the Lord that is called Shaktivesh. Parasuram's father was Jabanagni, and Sunday we discussed. Parasuram ordered his son, cut off the head of your mother. But they would not do. But Parasuram did in a moment. For disobeying the order, father means guru, he cut off heads of mother and son. Which is, Jabanagni was very happy, choose a benediction. When the benediction, they should have remembered, cut off their heads, and they should be alive again. So Kartava, therefore he was a very powerful personality. Jabanagni, he was a Brahmin, always engaged in meditation upon the Lord. Then one day, the great demon king, Kartavajuna, he was very powerful. Some also call him Sahasrarjuna. I think it's the same person. How strong he is. One time there was a river, he blocked the flow of the river with his hands. It's Kartavajuna, same person. He blocked the arms with his 1,000. That water flowed over to where Ravan was there. You know Ravan? Ravan was very angry. He came to fight with Kartavajuna. Kartavajuna grabbed him like a monkey, tied him around the neck. That's how powerful was Kartavajuna. Even he defeated Ravan very easily. We'll hear after the pastimes of Ravan. Therefore, one day Kartavajuna and his army came to where Jabanagni and his son were existing in their ashram. So Jabanagni had one wish fulfilling cow. Whatever you want, she would give you. Therefore Kartavajuna had millions of soldiers. Then Jabanagni said, you stay here, I will host you, and the cow produced everything. Tents, music, dancing girls, food, wine. He served them perfectly. What's wrong with Sita? What's wrong with a few dancing girls? They were serving head to toe. Even Kartavajuna became amazed. How is this possible? This poor Brahmin performing meditation in the forest, he can supply my whole army like kings? Oh, it's this Kamadeva. Therefore, Kartavajuna had desire to steal the cow. But Jabanagni would not give. So one day when Parasuram was away in another village, another city, Kartavajuna sent his sons to attack and bring back the cow. Therefore, while Jabanagni was meditating, those wicked sons of Kartavajuna killed, chopped off the head of Jabanagni and took the cow by force. When Parasuram came back, he took a fierce vow. I promise I will wipe out the warrior race from this earth planet. Therefore he went back to that city and made a mountain of their heads and brought back the cow. Then 21 generations he killed the child, 21 times. He made lakes of their blood. Those lakes are called Pancha. That is in Kurukshetra. Have you been there? Have you seen the size of those lakes? Can you imagine how many people he axed? I axed you to give the cow back. He made lakes of their blood 21 times. He killed the general. Shri Parasuram Maharaj Ki Jai. Then came the appearance of Bhagavan Ramchandra. So Ramchandra is very wonderful, very sweet, because he performs human-like pastimes. All these other incarnations we have described don't perform human-like pastimes. Matsya, Kurma, Narasingha, Barman, Their forms are not human-like, not to speak of their activities. Therefore Ram is very, very sweet because he performs human-like pastimes. He comes very close to us, close to the jiva. So how Ram appeared, Guru Maharaj said we should be careful when we hear Ram also, because his pastimes are very charming. If you hear too much, he'll steal your mind. Guru Maharaj says, when we hear, have to hear carefully. But Guru Maharaj, whenever he would speak Ramayana, how he would weep. Guru Maharaj used to watch the Ramayana on the video, and only weeping, weeping, weeping. And Puja Maharaj said he's weeping so much it's not good for his health, he would not let him watch it anymore. It was heart pressure. How much Guru Maharaj was attached to Ram Lila. I never heard anyone speak Ram Lila like Guru Maharaj. I think really our Gaudiya Acharyas, no one knew Ram Lila like Guru did. Because as a child he was absorbed in it. I said even when he first came to the mat, he would read, his Guru said, don't read Ramayana anymore. You have to read the pastimes of Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu. He said, yes, yes. I said, but I couldn't give it up. Therefore Bhagavatam would be there, pastimes of Krishna, but inside he'd have another book, that is Ramcharitamanas. So everyone said, yes, yes, now he's chanting, he's reading Krishna pastimes, but he wasn't, he was just reading Ramcharitamanas. And he said, special mercy of my Gurudev. Gurudev used to say, some special mercy. Then I a little bit understood who is Radha Krishna, who is Gauranga. And Pujakat Madhusudan Maharaj also, since childhood absorbed in Ram, Katha. And they said when he came to Vrindavan, and his Guru, they're saying, oh, he was always arguing, Ram is Bhagavan, Ram is the best, Ram is this. If anyone would give any Krishna Katha, then he would give 20 Ram Kathas. And finally the devotee of Gauranga became angry. If you don't accept Gauranga and Radha Krishna, then get out of here. Radha Krishna, my life and soul, Gauranga, my life and soul. You don't accept Gauranga, I want nothing to do with you, just go. And that night he had too much thinking. And little surrender, then mercy, then I little understood who's Gauranga. Then I started reading, then by force I started reading Gauranga's pastimes. And he said, mercy of Gauranga, I understood Gauranga. But even, isn't it? You cannot understand the Lord by your own efforts. You cannot understand, especially Gauranga Mahaprabhu or Krishna, by your own efforts, by your own scholarship. You can only understand him when Vaishnavas give you mercy. How you can understand the sun? How you can see the sun? By the light of the sun. How can you understand who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Only by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Gurudev went to England the first time, there was one disciple of Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. He came up to Gurudev and said, Gurudev, I've been worshipping Sita Ram Hanuman for 20 years. I'm a devotee of Lord Ram. And Gurudev went right up to him, almost touching nose to nose, looked in his eyes and said, no, you're not. What mantra your Guru gave? And Gurudev gave a Gopal mantra, Karavaja. It's not for worship of Ram. So 20 years he lost because deviated from the instructions of Guru. Isn't it? So we are hearing, we hear happiness, we think this is Krishna. This is not some different. So especially Ram appeared in the solar dynasty, the sun dynasty. So those who appeared in the solar dynasty had some amazing appearance. Krishna appeared in Luna dynasty. Chandra bombs, the Krishna, Ram Chandra solar bombs. So how Ram appeared wonderfully. Of course, Bhagavan has no birth. He is eternal. Like in the morning the sun rises from the ocean. Oh look, the sun was born. Idiot. The sun was there already. Only it appears and disappears. Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, all these incarnations are eternal. They manifest. Then again they cover themselves. So Lord Ram, how he appeared. Dasaratha Maharaj, the eternal father of Lord Ram. He married many queens, but had no son. Then he was very sad. Then he got advice. If you perform one yagya, putrasti yagya, one sacrifice to produce a son, then you will have a son. So who will perform that yagya? That must be Sringhi Rishi. Have you heard of him? Sringhi Rishi. He was born from a deer, therefore he had little horns. And his father made sure his whole life he never saw a woman. He didn't even know what a woman was, no experience. Therefore it said, if you can bring Shringi Rishi to your kingdom, and if he performs the yagya, then you will have a son. Before this is son. There was one drought, the king heard of this rishi comes in your kingdom, there will be rain for you. So the king is thinking how to bring Shringi Rishi out of the forest into the city. If he called so many ladies, prostitutes, and made a deal. If you can somehow bring him, then I'll give you so much wealth. So the madam, the good lady in charge of the brothel, she was very intelligent. She said, I will do, but you have to give me unlimited wealth. Otherwise I cannot do it. So they agreed. So the prostitutes made a floating city. What was it called? Like those cruise boats. They made a floating city that looked like an island. And all the prostitutes were on that. So they went there and hid near the ashram. No one could understand this is what? It looks like an island. So when they watched very carefully, when the father would leave, the prostitutes would go then to the ashram. Especially there was one very young and attractive young girl. So Shringi Rishi, whole life, he'd never seen a woman, he didn't even know what one was. So when this lady came, and he thought, oh, this must be like a sadhu. He thought, very good sadhu, nice looking. And speech is very good. Also, Shringi Rishi was thinking, these, whatever you call them. So he must have performed many, many austerities because he has these growths here. And that means too much austerity and meditation. Because he never knew what is a woman. No? Then when he's thinking his own thinking, then that sadhu, Maharaj, then he bowed to him, welcome, welcome, please come. Then that lady said, oh no, we don't do like that. We don't do Haribol, Namaste. No, we do like this. In my country, we give pranam like that. And she's kissing him, embracing him again and again. I think this is better than my pranam. And he said, I can give you some fruits, some glass of water. She said, no, no, I brought my own prasad. She gave him rasgullas, cakes, chocolate cookies, some drink, alcohol, some wet wine. And whole life he's only eaten like fruits and roots and leaves. And he's tasting this, oh my God, where's your ashram? I want to go there. Then the sadhu, she started playing with the ball and looking at him again and again. The cloth was loose and he was looking, he became full of lusty desires. Then she knew soon the father will return. If he comes, he'll burn us to ashes. So she did pranam again, some kissing, embracing again and again. Please, I will come back later. Don't tell your father. Okay. So she left and went back to the island. Then Shringi Rishi, he could not concentrate. He could not meditate. He could not do anything. His mind was completely finished. Again and again, he could only think, that sadhu, how sweet his voice was. How nice was his pranams. How nice, sweet. Again and again, he was full of lust. But he didn't know what lust was because he had no experience his whole life. His father returned and saw Shringi Rishi is completely disturbed. And he said, what happened? And Shringi Rishi, when he could understand, something has happened. Then he said, be careful, my son, some demons are around here in disguise. Don't trust them. But Shringi Rishi could not understand. So the father went looking around, where are these, whoever they are, these ladies? He could not find them because they were hiding on the island. And Shringi Rishi could only think again and again, when he will come back, when he will come back. So when he again went to the forest, they came, she said, come to my ashram. And Shringi Rishi said, I'm with you. So he went there to the kingdom. As soon as he touched the kingdom, the rain came, such as the power of the austerity of Shringi Rishi. We should be too much careful of the opposite sex. No? Improper mixing, lust, like we see like sister and mother, that is fine. But any other mood comes, your bhajan will be completely destroyed. So that is the glories of Shringi Rishi. So Dasarath Maharaj, he knew if I can get a yagya, Shringi Rishi will perform the yagya, I can have a son. Therefore Shringi Rishi performed the yagya. At the end of the yagya, one divine personality came out of the fire with a bowl of, what's it called? One special name is there, I forget that. Something. who eats this will produce a very good son. Therefore, Dasarath Maharaj had 3 main wives: Kausalya, Kaikeyi, Sumitra. I always get confused with the division. Half he gave to the first wife, and half he gave to Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi, because she was very young and beautiful, so the middle one missed out. Then Kaikeyi gave a bit of her sweet rice, and the first wife, Ram's mother, gave a bit of her share, so she got 2 shares. As well, she had twins. Her twins were called Bharat and Shatrugna. No, Ram. Lakshman and Shatrugna. Kaikeyi's son, his name was Bharat, and Kausalya, whose son's name was Ram. Who is Lord Ram? He is the Supreme Lord. And who is Bharat? And Shatrugna and Lakshman, these are his expansions. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and everything. So how happy was Dasarath Maharaj? Not only got a son, he got the Supreme Personality of Godhead also. Therefore, Ram was very much attractive. His complexion was dark like druva grass. His father was always absorbed. All the citizens loved him like their own soul. Then Ram's pastimes are like an ocean. It's hard to finish. Today we have to finish Ram Lila also. Little bit touching the glories of Yati Maharaj, then Krishna Lila. So Dasarath Maharaj, he knew nothing else except the feet of Ram even in his dreams. Especially devoted to Ram was Lakshman, and especially devoted to Bharat was Shatrugna. One day, the great sage Vishwamitra approached to Dasarath Maharaj, "O king, please give me a donation. Whatever you want, I will give you. Please give me your 2 sons, Ram and Lakshman." When Dasarath Maharaj heard, he began weeping. "No, why you want my sons? I am performing a yajna in the forest, and there are many demons who come and defile the yajna. They're passing stool and urine. Your sons must protect me." And Dasarath Maharaj said, "They're just boys, small children. They don't even know weaponry sufficiently. Take me, take my army, take my whole kingdom, but do not take Ram, do not take Lakshman." And Vishwamitra became angry. "Oh, forgive me, I thought that you were a king of the Raghuvams who always kept their promise. I must have made some mistake." Then Vishwamitra was angry, he was going to leave. Then Vashishta caught Dasarath Maharaj, "Don't do like this. You do not know the power of Vishwamitra. If he will protect your sons, there will be no harm at all." So Ram and Lakshman went to the forest with Vishwamitra. There Vishwamitra gave them all type of weaponry. Of course, Lord Ram is the Supreme Lord. But he is showing the importance we also must have good. These days, so many people, there are so many incarnations. I won't mention any names. Oh! He has millions and millions of followers. And when you ask him, well, who is his guru, what do the followers of Sai Baba say? Well, he's God, he doesn't need a guru. Wrong answer. Again, we're in the cycle of birth and death.
You have a guru, Sai Baba?
No, he doesn't.
Who is
his guru? Tell me his name.
No. His famous...
I'm talking about Sai Baba, the guy with the curly hair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know who his guru is. Come on, it's a joke. Come on, finish it. His guru is the famous magician. No, not Kapapiri. That magician, Bengali magician. Sarkar taught him all the trick how to bring the buffoons here.
What does Pankaj joke get out of 10?
That's not a joke.
So really, Sai Baba has no guru. And his disciples give the argument, well, he's Bhagavan, he doesn't need a guru. Wrong. Therefore, whenever the Supreme Lord comes to this world, he teaches us by also accepting the spiritual master. So who is the guru of Ram? Vishwamitra. Vashishta asked that Vishwamitra is like Shiksha Guru. So how Lord Ram served him. On the way to the forest, they killed the demoness Tarak. Then Tarak's son was named Subahu and Marish. For that reason, they hated Ram so much. Then Lord Ram went to the yajna where Vishwamitra was chanting mantra. And day and night they stayed awake and were marching around the perimeter of the fire sacrifice to protect him. Ram also gave his service to his spiritual master to teach us. Then what happened? On the 7th day, the sky became dark, and demons headed by Marich and Subahu attacked the Yagya. They tried to pass water and stool and throw bones on the Yagya. But Lord Ram and Lakshman, by their mantras and weapons, dispelled the demons. Lord Ram killed Subahu, and then with an arrow without a head, struck Marich in the chest and threw him 800 miles into the ocean. From that day, Marich became completely renounced of fear of Ram. Therefore, he went to the forest and took sannyas. But could he be happy in the forest? Why not? What was the complexion of Ram? Like dark green. And what was Lord Ram wearing when he took Vanaprast? Tree bark. Lord Ram also looked a bit like a tree. Subha went to the forest to forget Ram. He couldn't forget Ram. But everything reminded him of Ram. Through here. On the way back, Vishwamitra said, shall we go back to Ayodhya? Or should we go to visit Janak Maharaj in Puri, in Janakpur? And Ram and Lakshman said, chalo, to Janakpuri. There the daughter of Janak was about to be married. But Janak Maharaj did not want his daughter to marry any ordinary person. Janak Maharaj had a bow of Lord Shiva. He said, whoever could lift that bow could marry his daughter. It took 10,000 men just to push the bow into position. That's how heavy it was. When the competition was there, many kings came. They could not even lift it. Nighttime, Ravan came to try. But when he lifted a little bit, it fell and jammed his fingers and he was crying. That's how heavy it was. Sita Devi used to clean around the bow. In order to clean it, she would lift it and do like this. Dust. Why? Because she's the energy of the Supreme Lord, Sita Devi. How she appeared, long story, the appearance of Sita. Anyway, so there was the first meeting of Sita and Ram. Ram went in the morning to collect flowers for the worship of his spiritual master. And there in the forest, he had the first darshan of Sita. When he saw Sita, he felt very ashamed. Oh Lakshman, I am a disgrace to our dynasty. In our dynasty, no one in our dynasty has thought of a woman before marriage. At last, I am thinking of that young Kishore. Then Lakshman said, don't worry, that must mean you will marry her. When Sita also saw Ram, she became full of bliss. She closed her eyes. Some shame was there because many friends were there. The friend said, Devi, now is not the time to meditate. Now is the time to open and see your Ishtadev. Afterwards, when he was not there, then you can close your eyes and think of him. That was the first loving exchange, the first meeting place of Sita and Ram. So during the marriage competition, all the kings tried to lift the bow, they could not lift, what to speak of string or shoot anything. And Janak Maharaj was very angry. Are there no kings? Are there no men around? Are there no one worthy to marry my daughter? And when Lakshman heard that, Lakshman became furious. King, silence! How you can say there are no kings, no warriors? Shut your mouth. Don't you know we are Raghu dynasty? My brother easily could have done. But he has not got the permission of his guru, therefore he has not done. Then Ram stood up, he bowed to the feet of Vishwamitra. He went. In 1 second he lifted the bow, pulled the string and snapped it in half. Such a noise came, everyone fell unconscious except Ram, Janak Maharaj and Lakshman. Such a noise came. And Sita was very happy. She was thinking how Ram, this boy, will lift. He is very slender, like the stem of a lotus. How he will lift this bow. Some feeling was there by yoga. She prayed to Ganesh, because Ganesh removes obstacles. Oh Ganesh, if I've ever done anything good in my life, you make this bow as light as cotton. She was praying like that. So when Ram won the competition, how much ecstasy she felt. When she went to put the victory garland on the neck of Ram, she could not because her arms were stunned. She could not move. Also, Ram was very little taller than her, and he was maybe wearing some helmet. How she could reach up and put the garland over the helmet and on the neck of Ram. Also, Ram is the ideal personality. How he will bow to a woman. Ram will not bow, Sita cannot reach up. How the marriage will take place. And Lakshman saw that difficulty. Jai Sri Ram! He reached down to touch the feet of Ram. Then Ram said, no brother, don't do. But Sita could still not move. She felt such a happiness. Therefore the girlfriends, they took the hands of Sita and they put the garland on. Holding her hands means we also want to marry. We are also marrying. That is impossible because Lord Ram only one wife. Ekapatni Vrat. Therefore, even Lord Ram cannot fulfill everyone's desires. So all those maidservants of Sita had a desire. We want to marry Ram. We want to enjoy with him like a husband, but they could not. Therefore, Ram blessed them next incarnation. So all those maidservants of Sita became gopis, and they achieved the conjugal association of Krishna in that incarnation. So Guru Maharaj said, Ram cannot fulfill everyone's desires. Only Krishna has that power to fulfill everyone's desires. Sri Krishna Chandra ki jai. So, that was the marriage of Sita and Ram. When that noise came, Parshuram became very angry. Who has broken the bow of my Guru, Lord Shiva? We already heard how angry Parshuram was. He destroyed 21 generations of Kshatriyas. So he came there in a very angry mood. He's wearing a Brahmin thread but carrying axe and bow and arrow. So when he came there angry, imagine what all the Kshatriyas are doing. They were shaking. Because if Parshuram is angry, he could fight faster than the mind. Chop, chop. My mind, if he chops you, you're chopped. All were afraid. All the kings stood up, shouting, I am such and such, son of such and such. And bowing again and again to Daswan, please don't chop off my head, please don't chop off my head. Parshuram very angry. Who has broken the bow of my Guru? Speak now. And waving his axe and shouting. Then Lakshman, he could not tolerate because he's also Kshatriya. Oh, Rishi, Maharaj, Pranam, very sarcastically. Oh, as children we broke many, many bows. Now tell me you are not angry. This bow is very old and rotten, we lifted it, broke. Why are you so angry? A Brahmin should not be attached. Why you are so attached to this old one? Don't worry, we'll give you a new one. And Parshuram very angry. Very angry. No one ever spoke to him like that. Oh, who is that? You don't know who I am? Maybe. I'm Parshuram. But I'm not angry with you. I want to give you mercy. The Lakshman said, my God, if this is what you're like when you're merciful, I wouldn't like to see you when you're angry. Parshuram, more angry? Silence, child, you don't know who I am? I'm the great warrior Parshuram. 21 times I cleansed the earth upon other Kshatriyas. He began shaking his axe. You don't know who I am? You have not heard my glories? The Lakshman said, well, since you're glorifying yourself so much, I must have heard them by now. But a real hero never just talks like you do, he follows by action. Lakshman also, no Supreme Lord who will match him. And Parshuram, very angry. The only reason I'm not killing you, this axe is so cruel. Even it has killed unborn children in the womb. That's how cruel it is. The only reason I'm not killing you is you are simply a child. Then Lakshman said, what do you think? I'm not some pumpkin flower. You know pumpkin flower? Pumpkin flower is very delicate. If you touch it, it dies. I'm not some pumpkin flower that will die just because you are shouting at me. And Lakshman said, the only reason I'm not finishing you now is because I see you are wearing a Brahmin thread. And therefore I'm not doing anything. Then Parshuram just completely blown. You think I'm just a Brahmin, fool? I'm not a Brahmin, like this shouting. Then Lakshman said, you seem to be in a bit of an identity crisis. You are Brahmin with a Brahmin thread and carrying weapons? Maharaj, maybe you should go to a psychiatrist. Who are you and what you are? First you understand, then you come to me. Then Parshuram, very angry. We already heard. How much angry? That time Ram. No, Maharaj, please, please. Who has broken your bow? It must have been one of your servants. Therefore, my neck is extended. If you feel happy, if your axe is itching to do something, then take off my head. Because we are the Rana dynasty of Dasrat Maharaj and the Raghu dynasty. So we always give great respect to the Brahmanas. Even if they beat us and abuse us, we are always their servants. Please have mercy. Please have mercy. Ram very sweetly speaking. But Ram, Lakshmana is not sweetly speaking, he is like making one fire. And so when Lakshmana would say something, he would become completely furious. Then Ram would say something very sweet. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Oh, please forgive this child. Ram would say, he's just a child. When he saw you with bow and weapon, with bow and arrow and axe, he considered you to be a Kshatriya. In that mode he is challenging, but I know you are not really a Kshatriya, you are a warrior, you are a Brahmin. And Lakshmana saying, I don't know who he is, because this was going on and Parashuram became completely bewildered. Who am I? So when Ram would speak, he would become very happy, but when Lakshmana would speak, he would become completely agitated. Then some confusion came. So by this, the Lord was taking away all his energy. Because Parashuram was Shakyaveshavata. He is a Jiva soul who is empowered by the potency of the Lord. Whose potency is that? Lord Ram, the Supreme Lord. So the Lord took away his energy. Then Parashuram was confused. Who could possibly break the bow of Lord Shiva? Only someone who was more powerful than Lord Shiva. When doubt came. And he gave him a bow. This is the bow of Lord Shiva. This is the bow of Lord Vishnu. Take it if you can. And Lord Ram took. Oh, now I've taken a weapon. Whenever I take a weapon, it must take something. What do you want? Will I take your life, or will I take your power? And Parashuram realized, this is my Lord. I thought I was God. This is where all my power comes from. He said, Lord, take my austerities, take my power. Because if you take my life, I cannot do anything. If you take my power, at least I can do self-meditation. So Lord Ram took the potency of Parashuram, who became not like an ordinary person, but diminished. Bhagavan Ramchandra ki jai, Lakshman Maharaj ki jai, Ram of the Axe ki jai. Even Ram is saying, we are not equal to you because your name is very long, Parashuram, and my name is just Ram. You are superior to everyone. So that was, yes.
I was just saying, so one time I went to Parashuram. This was already when his power was
I'm sorry. So,
This is the best Parashuram Samvada ever.
Amachita Kavitski Jai. No, Amachita is so Ramchita Manas, always there. Ramchita.
When was Tulsidas?
Tulsidas. Yes, questions? Jiva soul empowered by the potency of the Lord. Huh? What about what? Krishna has 6 types of incarnations. This is one type of incarnation called Shakyavesha. Empowered Jiva. Some Jivas are so empowered they think, I am God. Parashuram is that category. Bhagavat Avesh, so much empowered they have the mood, I am God. Like Prithu Maharaj, like Parashuram. So, wonderful pastimes of Ram. Yes, sir. We do. They had kids, they grew up, they had kids, and he killed them. It's 21 times. Obviously, he killed them after they had kids.
And he killed them around the world.
And each time, then he gifted the whole earth planet as charity to the Brahmins. Back to Ram Lila. Everyone's going, what's so sweet about Ram Lila? I haven't heard anything sweet yet. So then, Dasharatha Maharaj had many wives. The youngest was Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi had served Dasharatha Maharaj so much. When Dasharatha Maharaj was fighting against the demons on behalf of the demigods, he would fight so rapidly, it appeared as if he had 10 chariots. There is named Dasa, Rat. Rat means 10, chariot means Rat. Rat means chariot. When he was fighting against the demons had knocked him unconscious. He was about to die. At that time, Kaikeyi was driving a chariot. Chatri woman, not a weak woman. The wheel was about to fall off the chariot, therefore she put her finger in the spoke, what do you call it, the axle, to keep the wheel on. With the other hand, she drove the chariot to safety. And Dasharatmaj said, "Oh, Devi, you have saved my life. I want to give you 2 benedictions." And she said, "No, I will not ask now. In the future I may ask." So Dasharatmaj decided to take the renounced daughter to go to the forest and make his son king. Therefore, everyone was very happy, all the citizens of the Yoga. Especially Kaikeyi, she loved Ram more than anyone. She was very pleased. That time her maidservant called Manta came. She gave the news, "Oh, Ram will be king." And Kaikeyi, very happy, she took off her diamond necklace and gave to Manta as a donation. Manta took that necklace and threw. "You foolish woman. You are happy by this? You don't know that when Ram becomes king, what will happen to you? Ram's mother, Kausali, she will become prominent and you will become like a maidservant, a slave. And your son will also become a slave." She put the seed of doubt in the mind of Kaikeyi. And Kaikeyi thought again and again, "Yes, it's true. What should I do? Remember your husband gave you 2 benedictions. You should ask for them." What 2 benedictions should I ask for? Ram will go to the forest for 14 years, and my son Bharat will be king. So Kaikeyi, she went to the manga. Every woman has a house of anger. Malini, your mother got one? The anger room. Is it? Well, you guys know where the anger room is? Every room. Your wife has one, Jai Krishna. The anger room. Watch out. Before, women would have one room when they were completely angry when they would go there. That room had no marble, just dirt. Kaikeyi went there, took off all her jewelry, threw it around, put on one very old cloth, undid her hair and lay on that room weeping. And Dasharatmaj, whenever he would come into the room of Kaikeyi, she would welcome him with so much affection. But today she was not there. Then the maidservant said, "Maharaj, got some bad news. She's in the manga, the room of anger." Then Dasharatmaj was shocked. Why should she be angry? He went there. And, "Oh, Kaikeyi, what? Like you touch a snake, she jumped. Don't touch me." Again and again. "Well, how have I offended you? If anyone in this kingdom has offended you, you just say his name, immediately I will banish him. Who has offended you? Who has offended you?" And she said, "You have offended." Again and again he was, "I have offended you?" "Yes, why? How I can please you. Whatever it takes to please you, I promise in the name of my forefathers I will give. What do you want?" And Kaikeyi said, "Remember the 2 benedictions you promised me. I want them." And Dasharatmaj, "Oh, small thing you want, whatever you want, ask." Then she said, "Promise you will give. I promise I will give. I promise on my father, his father, the forefathers, my whole dynasty, before the demigods, before the fire, before the Supreme Lord. I promise whatever you want I will give." Okay, she became happy. I won the benediction. Ram will go to the forest for 14 years, and my son Bharat will be king. It is as if Dasharatmaj had been struck by a thunderbolt. He fell down unconscious, weeping, weeping. How I can ask for anything else, but do not ask for that. And he became mad, like a madman. Then she said, "You call Ram here and give that order." All night, Dasharatmaj was weeping like a madman. His face was pale. He could not speak properly. "Ram will leave, Ram will leave." Then Ram came ready for the coronation, dressed to become king. All the paraphernalia was there for the Abhishek, the inauguration ceremony. But he saw my father is not here. Everyone was waiting. You can imagine everything was ready. Sita was also decorated, everything. He went there, "Where is my father? He has not come. Is he ill?" He went up to the palace and saw his father lying on the ground. Ram had never seen his father like that. So when he asked, Father, what's wrong? What has happened? Dasaraj could not speak. So Kaikeyi spoke. Ram, your father wants two things from you. You will go to the forest for 14 years, and your younger brother Bharat will be king. Then Ram smiled. Such a small thing you are asked. Ram never became angry, not one touch of anger, resentment came to him, because he is the perfect person. Even though he has all type of opulence, he is always completely detached. He said, Father, I am not sad to go to the forest. Only I have one pain. You doubted I would follow your order. That gives me pain. I am very happy to go to the forest. In the forest there are many, many sadhus. I will go and get their association. My life will be perfect. Very happily I will go. Then Kaikeyi said, you should go now. Yes, I am ready. Immediately she ordered, bring the bark clothing. Ram immediately took off his robe cloth, put on the bark, and was about to go to the forest. The time Sita, how much she wept. You must take me also. It's the wife's duty to share the suffering of the husband in all circumstances. What, I will become queen when you become king, but when you lose everything, go to the forest, I will not go with you. I cannot live without you. If I go to the forest with you, the forest will become a yoga, paradise. And if I stay here without you, a yoga will become like a forest. Wherever you are, that is a yoga. Wherever you are, that is my happiness. And weeping, please take me with you. And Ram agreed. When the citizens heard Sita will also go to the forest with bare feet and bark robes, how much they became mad. Sita, who had never even seen the sun. Not like you guys hanging out on the beach all day. High-class woman never going outside. How she'll see the sun? Sita never seen the sun. She must have seen the sun. Never going outside. Never walked externally. Trying to understand. She must have had umbrellas. Palanquin. Think she walked there? Queen is carried in a palanquin, not just for the Sita. Even Prabhupada said, even Prabhupada 100 years ago, my mother never walked in the street. She was already carried. What to speak of Sita? Next question. Sita, who had never seen the forest, never walked bare feet, never walked. When she sees a picture of a monkey in a wall, she becomes afraid. And Sita will go to the forest. All the citizens lamenting like that. When she took off her cloth, and she did not even know how to put on the bark clothing. The Kaikeyi is so cool, she did here. Then Lakshmana cannot live without you. You must go. And for these three went to the forest. When they went to the forest, Dasharatha Maharaj was like mad. And we heard when he went to the forest, he could not tolerate living without Ram. Therefore he cried, Haram, Haram. And he gave up the body. Very happily died. Living is painful. Without Ram, dying is one happiness. Where did he go? Straight back to the spiritual world where he came from. And that is how Sita, Ram, Lakshman entered 14 years of Vanaprastha. So when they were moving in the forest, there were many sadhus there. They were chanting Gopal mantra. But Guru Maharaj said, like us, their practice was weak. They would chant, sleep. They would chant, think of other things. Sometimes they would mutter their mantra. Therefore, for 60,000 years they were chanting that mantra, but the result was not becoming very strong. When they saw Lord Ram in the forest, then came a desire. Oh, I want him as my husband. Why the soul is not male? All souls are female. Any females in this room? No, all are males. Are there any women in LA? They're all men trying to enjoy, trying to exploit. There's no women in LA. Only Pankaj is a girl, but he's the only woman. All souls are female. But the problem comes when the female, the energy, the Shakti, the potency, when she gives up her desire to serve, her natural tendency, and becomes the enjoyer, then the soul becomes called Purush. Then that is our mistake. Therefore, really, the mood of servitude, that is Gopi Bhav. when one gives up all type of enjoyment. That is the soul's real position. So really all souls are female. And what is the job of all souls? To render happiness to the supreme male, Krishna. Don't like it? Want to make your own woman's lib movement? Okay, that's what this material world is for. For the disobedient souls who do not wish to give happiness to the supreme male, Sri Krishna. So, when those sadhus saw Ram, that feeling came, oh, if I could be his husband. This is not any like mundane thing like we do in San Francisco or anything like that. This is the soul's true nature. Therefore, that is impossible in Ram Lila, therefore Lord Ram blessed them. In next life, those sadhus took birth as gopis, and they enjoyed Krishna's association. They're called rishicharis. Many types of gopis, that is called rishicharis. So Lord Ram, Lakshman Sita moved through the forest, giving happiness to all. Why? Because all the sadhus were in the forest chanting the holy name. They could see Ram. Their bhajan became perfect and successful. Then one day there was one demoness in the forest. He wasn't so cute, he'd become a... There was one demoness in the forest, her name was Supanika. How to remember her? Very easy. Supanika. Nak means nose. Supanika. Super nose. Supanaka. Kanai is great, he laughs at all my jokes. You should come and always talk Kanai. Supanaka. Supanaka. Super nose. She had a very big nose. Huh? And very long fingernails, which the sister of the demon Ram. So when she saw Ram, one lust came in her heart. Because Ram Manoharam, Lord Ram is so much attractive, so beautiful, the perfect male. What woman would not be attracted? When she saw Ram, she became full of lust. Oh, if I could have him as my husband. Therefore, some places we hear he made herself into a beautiful woman and approached Ram. But some Ramayan saying she was so lusty she forgot to change herself. Therefore, he came there with his huge nose and nails. I want you married. Tulsidas, I think. She was so lusty she forgot to change her form. Therefore, she came like that. Other places Ramayan saying she came in a beautiful, attractive form. And the name to Kshatriya, Kshatriya means warrior. If a woman approaches, he has to marry her. Not a wonderful thing. I wish I was a Kshatriya. That is Kshatriya's duty. Any good woman comes, have to marry her. So when she came, I'm alone in the forest, I'm not married, hint, hint. Ram didn't take the hint, please marry me. You are very beautiful. We could enjoy so much together. Did Lord Ram accept? No. Why? He knows she has no love, no devotion. This is lust. She wants to enjoy me for her own enjoyment. This is not devotion. Therefore, Lord Ram neglected. Look how happy Mohan is. He neglected her. How? What excuse he gave? Very cleverly. Oh, I cannot marry you because this is my wife. Supanak meet Sita. Sita means Supanos. Supanak. I cannot marry you. My wife is here. Then you'll have to share me. And you are such a beautiful, attractive, high-class lady. You should have your very own husband. Supanika, meet Lakshman. Then she thought, this is true. She looked at Lakshman. Lakshman, who is Lakshman? Sankarshan. The all-attractive incarnation who attracts all souls to his self. When she looked at Lakshman, his complexion like purified gold, whitish complexion, she became full of lust also. Ah, he's good. Yes. Lakshman, please. I want to marry you. And what did Lakshman do? He also knows she has no devotion. He's a demon. Lusty woman. Therefore he said, this is not good. I know you're very qualified, Supanaka, son Supanika. But I am a servant of Ram. So if you marry me, you'll also have to become a servant, a maidservant. And you'll probably have to end up serving Sita. This is not good. You are so qualified, you have the power to become a queen. Good, listen to my brother. His father had 365 wives. So if he has 2 wives, there's no harm at all. And Supanika thinking, yes. Again, she looked at Ram. Ram was like more than millions of cubits, dark complexion, like Dhruva grass. Again, she went, I want to marry, but you're giving some other excuse. She was like a football. You know, like in the World Cup, they kick to one end and the guy kicks to the other end. And she was being kicked from Ram to Lakshman, Ram to Lakshman. Then she realized these 2 brothers are cheating me. Why all the fault of this woman? Can I help you? It's all the fault of this woman. Where there's no smoke, there's no fire. So she went to kill Sita. Then immediately Ram looked at Lakshman. Lakshman took out his knife, cut off her nose, cut off her ears. Deformed her. Would you marry a woman with no nose and no ears? Depends what her body was like. No. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Oh, he said if he was blind. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. The point is, no one would ever marry a woman with no nose or no ears. This is Lord Ram's mercy. Why? She had a desire to have a conjugal relationship with the Supreme Lord. But she cannot because she is a demon, and that pastime is not possible. Because Lord Ram is the ideal person. Therefore, only one wife. For that reason, Lakshman cut off her nose and ears. Therefore, in that life, she was a virgin girl. So in that life, no one touched her. Even with a barge pole. So whole life, she did not become contaminated. Isn't it? Therefore, she kept that desire. Ram will be my husband. Ram will be my husband. Therefore, next life, she appeared as the hunchback, Kubja. And we will hear what happened. We will hear that tomorrow. That is our 10th canto. Kubja Thakurani Kubja. So Supanika was deformed. She ran crying to her brother, I have been deformed by 2 human beings. Then when Ravan heard, immediately he called his generals. What were they? Who resided in the Dantakaranya forest. Kar and Das, Dusha. What is that we sing in the Dasavata Stotram? I give pranam to that Ramachandra who is the killer of the Kush. Anyway, Ravan ordered those 2 generals. What is it? Please hurry up. That Ram who killed Kara and Dusa, I give pranam. So when the generals, they came with this huge army, how many soldiers they had? 60,000 demons. That time Ram and Lakshman alone, Ram ordered Lakshman, you take Sita into the cave. I will fight alone. So alone Ram destroyed the 60,000 demons along with the 4 generals. So when Ravan heard the news that the whole army of Dantakaranya had been wiped out, he became completely stunned. Then Supanika, she described the beauty of Sita to Ravan. Ravan was very lusty. I think he had 100,000 wives. So much lust. So when Supanika described the beauty of Sita, then one big greed came in the heart of Ravan. I wish that I could take her as my wife by force. How to do? Then he went to Marich the demon. Remember before? He took sannyas. So when he said, I want you to help me kidnap the wife of Ram, Marich said, are you mad? You have no idea of the potency of this boy. He is Vishnu himself. He hit me in the chest with an arrow without a head. At that time he was just a young boy. He threw me 800 miles back into the ocean. Imagine his strength now. Don't do. He's looking like a, isn't it? Don't do. So when he heard the idea of Marich, he gave up the idea. But Suparnika again described the beauty of Sita. He went and grabbed Marich. You must help me kidnap Sita. If we don't, I'll kill you. And Marich thought, oh, if I'm killed by Ravan, there's no benefit. But if I'm killed by Ram, at least I'll get liberation. So Marich went there and made himself in the form of a golden deer. They were with rainbow colors, silver spots. When Sita saw the deer, captured the deer alive, my Ram. Alive, we can keep him with him as a pet, and if you kill him and take the skin, we can give that to Bharat. So to teach us how much you'll have to cry if you're controlled by a woman. Ram ran to the forest, chasing the deer. No matter how close he came to the deer, he could not catch it. Farther and further and further away he went. Then finally Ram took an arrow and struck Marich. At the time of death, Marich took his original form as a demon and cried out in the voice of Ram, Lakshman, save me! And chanting the name of Ram, he died. What a glorious destination. Marich Maharaj ki. When Lakshman heard the voice, which he thought to be the voice of Ram, save me, save me. Then Sita said, go and save your brother. He said, this is a trick, Devi. Even all the demigods and demons combined cannot touch a hair on the head of Ramchandra. What will one demon Marich do? Then Sita, oh, I know. You are really the secret spy of Bharat. You want me dead? You want Ram dead so you can enjoy me. If you do not go, I promise right now I will drink poison. I will commit suicide by fire. And the words of Sita like an arrow in the heart of Lakshman. He could not do anything. He left. And while he left, Ravan came disguised as Tridanda Sannyasi. And throwing danda, catching woman and went. As Ravan was flying off, the old vulture, Jatayu, Vishwanath was telling me the other day, Jatayu went a big fight with Ravan, even though he knew he would be defeated. He knew he would be killed still for the service of Ravan. Yes, sir. No, vulture. Vulture. Eagle is a good thing, vulture is very degraded. Coming to you. I don't want to go the whole Ramayana, I want to go half an hour. Jatayu went there because friend of Dasratha. When big battle was there, he was killed. They were Marich, Jatayu, the lowest of, what's the lowest of birds? Crow and vulture. Because he dead bodies, roadkill. But he achieved such a glorious destination because personally cremated by the hand of the Supreme Lord. And Sita was kidnapped and taken to Lanka. And we heard the other night when Ram came back, Sita was not there, he became mad. We already heard and discussed in the pastimes of Lord Shiva and Sata. Oh Sita, where are you, like a madman moving forest to forest? Then he came to Kishkin. No, he came to the that mountain. Kishkin. And there he made friends with Sugriva. Sugriva's wife, Tara, had also been kidnapped by his brother. His brother's name was Bali. Because Sugriva's wife had been kidnapped and Ram's wife had been kidnapped, and they made friendship. And they took a vow in front of the yaga. If you help me take back my wife, I will help you take back your wife. But how to kill Bali? Bali was so powerful. You know how powerful he was? Every morning he would take bath in the 7 oceans. So one time he was taking bath, Ravan came and tried to pull him by the tail. But he didn't even notice. Then Ravan got tangled up in the tail and he went ocean to ocean. And Ravan was behind. Then Bali kept him under his armpit. And Ravan would let me out. But no, that's the strength of Bali. So much power. After Sugriva was abusing, don't you know who I am, Ravan? Then Sugriva was like, oh, you're the same Ravan who was under the armpit of my brother. Okay. So Bali is so much powerful. Those brothers were very close, but because of some misunderstanding, they became enemies. There was one demon, his name was Dundubi, buffalo form. He came and challenged the two brothers, digging up the earth with his tusk, with his horn. Come and fight. Then Bali and Sugriv both went to fight with Dundubi. So during that battle, Dundubi entered the cave, and Bali entered the cave behind him. And they fought for 1 year. So as they were fighting, then there was no noise for a long time. Then the brother Sugriv was thinking, maybe my brother Bali has been killed. Some blood and foam came out. So he took a huge boulder and sealed it so that the Dundubi demon could not come out. He went back, his brother was not there, he became king and began enjoying. But Bali was not killed. When he came out, he saw this huge boulder and he thought, my brother has betrayed me. Therefore, he went back to Kishkin and kicked Bali's. Sugriv's punished him in a big fight. So the thing is, after Bali had killed Dundubi buffalo demon, he took the dead body of the demon and threw a few hundred miles. So the dead buffalo, when he was flying through the air, then someone stool and urine and blood came out of his orifices. So there was one sadhu who was meditating, and he felt this, oh, that's nasty. His whole ashram became by buffalo stool. Then who has defiled my ashram? Bali. Then he cursed Bali, you step foot on my mountain, your head will crack to 1,000 pieces. So Sugriv, where is he living? This mountain, Kishkin. That was the only place Bali could not come. So Lord Ram, he came, he made friend there, he met Hanuman. Hanuman was the minister and friend of, servant of Sugriv. Therefore, you know, Ram said, I will kill Bali with my arrow. But even Sugriv had a doubt. You can kill Bali. Then they went to the dead Dundubi skeleton. My brother threw this 80 miles. Can you throw it? So Ram with the tip of his toe, he kicked it like 200 miles. But still Sugriv did not believe that Ram was strong enough. He said, no, because when Bali threw the buffalo, it was full of stool and urine and fat. But when you kick it, it was just a skeleton. So then to prove, Ram pierced 7 tal trees with 1 arrow. Tal means palm trees. Then Sugriv believed, yes, Ram has the power to kill my brother. So he said, you go and challenge your brother, because Bali had a necklace given to him by Indra. If you fought him face to face, he would take half your energy, no one could defeat him. So Ram said, you fight him and I'll hide behind a tree, Jai Krishna, and then I'll kill him from behind. Bhagavan Ramchandra ki jai. So Sugriv came to the front gate. Come out, Bali, you coward, fight like a man. They came out, and Lord Ram, he was hiding behind a tree, but he could not shoot because the 2 brothers were like identical twins. He did not know which one is Bali, which one is Sugriv. So Bali gave his brother a real pounding. And Sugriv was thinking, come on, shoot, shoot. Ram did not shoot. Then Sugriv was broken-hearted. He went back after the pounding. He ran back to the mountain. Thanks a lot, buddy. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Why you did not shoot? And Ram said, you guys are like twins, I could not shoot. So Lakshman made a garland of jasmine around his neck. This time you go and fight and you'll kill. Sugriv went there. Oh Bali, come and fight again. And he began thumping his tail on the ground. Then Bali came out, very angry again. That time wife said, don't go. You have to think. You just pulverized him, now he's coming back and fighting. Why? He must have some secret weapon, some ally. I heard he made friends with the son of Dasrat Maharaj. Don't go. Make friends with your brother. But Bali did not listen. So when he was fighting with his brother, Ram skewered him from behind. When Bali fell to the ground, then he said, who is that coward who shot me from behind a tree? Oh, Ram has done. Oh, Ram, you are a disgrace to your family. I never thought anyone in the Raghu dynasty could ever do like this. Therefore, you are a coward. a weakling and a sinful person. I had no fight with you. If you wanted me to get your wife back, you could have asked me, I could have done in a second. Therefore, you committed sinful activity for no benefit. I'm a monk, you cannot eat me, you cannot use my skin. Therefore, your reputation has been destroyed, and there's no benefit to you at all. Therefore, you're the worst and most nonsense of persons. Fair enough? Ram gave good answer. No, you are the sinful and foolish fellow. You took the brother of your wife. Yeah. You took the wife of your brother. Brother's wife is like sister. How you can have sexual intercourse with your sister? Therefore, you are the most degraded and sinful person. And what is the job of the king? The job of the king is to cleanse his kingdom of sinful rats like you. Therefore, I have not acted against Dharma, because the king of this whole earth planet is my brother Bharat, and I am his representative. It is my duty to uphold Dharma. Therefore, I have done so, I have not done any sin. Also, I am a hunter and you are a monkey. There is no rules that the hunter has to shoot the monkey face to face. He can hide behind a tree and shoot the prey. I have not done any sin. I am very pleased with you. Choose a benediction. And what did Bharat say? Could there be any benediction in this? Most people at the time of death, they try and chant the name of Ram. The Supreme Lord is now right before me, personally. Can there be anything bigger than that? So Ram, he left this body. And he would happily achieve the good destination. Bali Maharaj ki jai. So for 4 months, during the rainy season, Ram waited. After the rainy season, we will search where is Sita. But after the 4 months, Sugriv had not done anything. Because after so many years living on the mountain, he'd been deprived of sensual enjoyments. Now he was enjoying to the full. Therefore Lakshman became very angry. When he went there to remind Sugriva of his promise, Lakshman was very angry. All the monkeys became terrified. Anyway, Sugriva, he was intoxicated, he was afraid, but Tara came out. She was drunk, her clothing was loose because she had been enjoying with her husband. When Lakshman saw her, looked away, his anger went away. And he said, don't worry, we promise we will find. Therefore Sugriva announced, all monkeys must assemble. All the monkeys' armies came, and the order was given, search and find the wife of Ramchandra. Some monkeys went north, east, west, but Hanuman's group went south. But everywhere they looked, he said, the monkey that does not come back in 1 month will be punished with death. 1 month had passed, they had not found Sita, so Hanuman and his group were depressed. If we have not fulfilled the Lord's desire, we go back, Sugriva will kill us anyway. What should we do? And Hanuman, and they met Jatayu's brother, who said, I saw Ravan taking seat with that island in the far distance. Then Hanuman, who will jump across the ocean 800 miles, 100 yojnas? And the monkeys were saying, how funny. One monkey said, I can jump 10 miles. Another monkey said, I can do 50. One monkey said, I can do 100, but I can't jump back. And Hanuman said, I will do. And Hanuman jumped. Jai Hanuman Rama Gurasana, Jai Kavish Chilo Kudar, Rama Du Bhakti Dharma Pavana Sutra, Anjali Sutra. Hanuman jumped across Sri Lanka. And God, Ramayana is so much nectar. Guru says, don't read it too much, you'll end up fighting each other. So much sweetness is there, but so much that they're also fighting Bharata. Hanuman went there and he began searching where is Sita. Ravan had 100,000 wives. Therefore Hanuman was going in the room of the women, because you have to find a woman, you have to search in the bedrooms of the women. Some ladies were like no clothes, their clothes were here and there, sleeping. And Hanuman was brahmachari. And Hanuman thought, I'm doing a very bad thing. Looking at the wives of other men and moving in their rooms incognito. And Hanuman said, no, my mind and senses are not disturbed. Because I am here in the service of Ram. That only the devotion can save one from lust, nothing else can save. Hanuman is the proof. Then Hanuman, he went everywhere, he could not find Sita. Actually, each woman was so beautiful, Hanuman thought, maybe she's Sita. They didn't know how possible Sita could be enjoying with Ram, impossible. Then finally he met with Ravan's brother. He was chanting Ram, Ram, the only devotee in the whole city. And Vivasan, he told Hanuman she is there in the Ashok Vatika. So Hanuman saw one woman in yellow cloth, thin like the crescent moon, because for 11 months she had not eaten or drank water, because separation of Ram. She was dirty, covered with dust, but very pure, and she was weeping constantly. And Hanuman thought, this is Sita. Hanuman took a very small form and hid in the tree. How to give my message to Ram? So that time Hanuman began chanting the glories of Ram. And Sita was here. When Hanuman came before it first, Sita was thinking, no, this is some traitor. This may be Ravan in disguise to trick me. But Hanuman began singing the pastime, then she realized, oh, this Hanuman is devotee. Then Hanuman gave a ring that Ram had given. And she looked at this ring and understood, yes, really, he comes from Ram. She became full of happiness. Oh, long conversation between Sita and Ram, very, very beautiful. Hanuman said, Devi, you come on my back. I will carry you back to your husband. She said, no. I never touch any other man except my husband. Also, if you carry me, then Ram's name will not be glorified. And Hanuman said, yes, you have spoken rightly. Really, you are the wife of Ram? Just let me teach these demons a lesson. Then Hanuman made himself into a huge form and began ripping out all the trees of Ravan's favorite garden at Ashok Vatika. He killed the guards, ripped down Ravan's temple. Many soldiers came, Hanuman slew them all with a post, a big huge iron rod. He killed Ravan's sons, one of his favorite sons, smashed the army. Then Meghnad came, Ravan's main son, eldest son. Hanuman allowed himself to be captured because he wanted to see the defenses of the city. Also, he wanted to meet with Ravan face to face. So when he came and saw the demon king, so much effulgence from his body, even Hanuman could not look at him. So much power, so grand, so Ravan had all good qualities, except he hated Ram. That's it. Ravan was sitting on a huge throne, his arms were like pillars, his chest like a slab of black marble. Ravan had defeated the 33 million demigods. So much he was strong. He had pleased Lord Brahma by his austerities. He was a great yogi, he was a great pandit. He was so wealthy, the whole city was made of gold. Therefore Ravan was sitting on a huge throne. He wanted to meet Hanuman. And Hanuman also, he made his tail like a spring. And he came up on the same level as Ravan, maybe a little higher also. And Ravan laughed. This is one real warrior. He's very happy by having Hanuman chivalry. Oh monkey, who are you? Why have you destroyed my Ashok Vatika? Are you Indra? Are you Vayu? Are you Vishnu? Who are you? Give me your identity. And Hanuman laughed. What a foolish question. If you had asked who is Ram, then I could have given you a 6 or 7 hour lecture, Ram time. And you ask him, who am I? You should know, Dasoham Kausalyana. I'm a servant of the son of Dasara. I'm a servant of Ram. Ravan began laughing. Oh my God! I thought you were some king, prince, hero, lord, emperor. But you're just a servant of a human being, Ram, who's rejected by his own father. So attached to women, he took sannyas of his own wife. Who killed Bali, hiding behind a tree, that Ram. So a long conversation between Hanuman and Ram. Hanuman said, my brother, you have all good qualities. High birth, he was Brahmin family. His father was Palasta Rishi, Brahmin. You have high birth, wealth. All the Vedic scriptures were in the neck of Ram, Kantasta. Great Pandit, big yogi, very powerful. But you have no devotion to Ram. Therefore you're like a zero. And who am I? Monkey, low born. Monkeys outside Varnashram. I never went to Gurukul. But even today the whole world worships Hanuman. When did Lord Rama appear? 60 million years ago. That's how long the service, the glorification of Hanuman has been going. Then Ravan wanted to kill him. He laughed. God, even the monkeys now my guru? And Hanuman gave him a good instruction, but Ravan could not accept. Then Ravan ordered burn his tail. The tail is very dear to the monkey. So Ravan ordered his tail soaked in rags with ghee and oil. He set fire. And Hanuman, with his tail, he moved and burnt the whole Lanka to ashes. And Sita was praying, please, Bhagavan, Agni, please make Hanuman's tail as cool as ice. So Hanuman burnt Lanka to ashes and went back to Ram. One went back to Ram. Ram came with a demon, with a whole monkey army. They built the bridge across to Lanka and they killed Ravan and all the dynasty. So you can imagine finally Sita had been rescued. The millions of monkeys and bears were brought back to life. Then Sita was coming back for her reunion with Ram. But Ram gave order, she should not be carried in a palanquin, she should walk. Very grave. Oh, Sita was shocked. She had never heard Ram like this. So grave, so detached. Ram said so many monkeys and bears gave up their life for her. They want to see her. She came to Ram and bowed. Then Ram said, I've done my duty of protecting the honor of my dynasty. Now you can go and do whatever you want. I have done my duty. And Sita said, I cannot tolerate it. You think I am impure because I have been touched by another man. Therefore she ordered, build a funeral pyre. I will enter and commit suicide. The fire will be very cooling Ram, but rejection from Ram will be very burning. When she entered the fire, what happened? Maya Sita, the fake Sita that Ravan kidnapped, was burnt to up, was reclaimed, and the original spiritual form of Sita came out from the fire. And this was proof before all the monkey army, everyone, that Sita was completely pure. Ram took everyone back to Ayodhya, and there he was king for 60,000 years. So finally, Ram ended up his pastimes. Bhagavan Ram Chandra ki jai. So finally, after describing all the incarnations, so many devotees, we have missed out, the Yadu dynasty, many, many things we have skipped in these 7 days. We give pranam to those great devotees that may forgive us. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki jai. Then Parikshit Maharaj, after hearing the 9 cantos, he became full of enthusiasm. I want to hear the pastimes of Krishna. Nibritita se upagiyamanas pavashad shroti manobiramat kimutamashloka gunanarana pumsam virajeta vinapasukya. Who is that person who will not hear the pastimes of Sri Krishna, which are like nectar to the ears? Understands, yeah? Like medicine. Medicine is bitter to the taste, but this medicine for the material disease is not bitter. It's very, very sweet. This nectar should be heard from the parampara of sadhus who are completely detached from this world. And that Harikatha is like nectar. One who hears that nectar and does not cross the ocean of birth and death, they are like an animal, a killer of the soul. So Parikshit Maharaj being carried, and Sukadeva Goswami being encouraged by the glorification of Parikshit, then Sukadeva Goswami began the 10th canto. 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavat Purana ki jai. This 10th canto is the real essence of the Bhagavat. The smiling face of Sri Krishna. It's very good. This 4th day we'll finish. We are beginning. So, the next 3 days, time is not. Okay. Some kirtan, who will sing? Some nice kirtan for Krishna? What kirtan you want to do? Okay. Yes.
Trying to do too fancy.